So anyway, you're pretty much ready to remove the helmet shell. It just pulls straight off like this, and you can set it aside. And now we get to see the innards of the Virtual Research VR-4. You can see these are the screws and the mechanism that changes the eye spacing. There are two circuit boards, one for the left eye, and this is, you can see the adjustment controls here, and one for the right eye, and the adjustment controls are then buried down here. If you want to remove the circuit boards, it's relatively straightforward to do. There's a single screw right in here, and there's a backing nut, and so I'll just pop this loose. And my nut comes off, and the screw will also come out. Then the circuit board comes loose, and you can see more adjustment pots on the back side, and so forth. Interestingly, the circuit board interfaces from the cable that goes to the control box, and that's these colored wires here, and then interfaces with three cable assemblies here, here, and here. Here, here, and then there's one more down here that go to the actual optical setup. You can remove these circuit boards just simply by pulling out these connectors gently, all three of them, and set it aside if that's what you'd like to do. The eyepieces themselves are, there's a light block that's made with foam here, and then there is a molded plastic light block here. This comes off relatively simply. There's just a single screw. There's a second screw right underneath another light block. And at that point, we revealed our eyepieces. And there's actually a circuit board here on the eyepiece. This is both an interface to the actual liquid crystal display. It's a 1.3-inch liquid crystal display, and also an interface to the backlight inverter and then the fluorescent backlight. This circuit board comes out relatively simply. Also a screw right here. Notice I'm doing one side, one eye's worth, but you could do pretty much the same thing on the other eye if that was your desire. And you can see at this point, this circuit board lifts up and folds away. Couple of more things. Right here is what's known as a backlight inverter, and it's fastened in with some kind of long screws. The backlight inverter is a high voltage supply that drives the LCD backlight. And actually, the backlights in the inverters are probably the main replacement item in the electronics of the VR-4. They last a long while. They're pretty reliable, but it's possible if something was going to fail, I would say that the inverter is the first to go, and then next is the backlight. And it comes out here, and inside this little case is an inverter, but you probably won't have to mess with that at all. If you need to repair it, just replace it with a new one. V-Rtifacts has spares. Backlights of inverters and of circuit boards. Contact us if you need. So that, in short, is a quick teardown of the VR-4 helmet side. You can go dig in further if you want. These eyepieces will release through some screws in here, but I'm not going to do that right now. This other thing you may want to look at is the control box. They're quite easy to disassemble. There are 4 screws, 2 on the front panel and 2 on the rear panel. And this is this screw right here, which bolts down a heat sink for the power regulator inside the case. Undo those and remove the screws for the VGA style connectors. Even though it only runs lower scan rate than a VGA, the signal, the pinouts are the same as a VGA for our RGB inputs. And so if you remove these here, at that point the panel comes off and you can slide the whole control box out, and you can see it's relatively straightforward. There's a power supply section here, some video buffers and switches. These are Maxim chips, standard video chips that switch the monoscopic and stereoscopic. They buffer the video signals. The helmet is a long way away, and so you need some amplification running through here to the helmet connector and on out to the actual LCDs in the helmet. So that's your quick teardown of the Virtual Research VR-4. It's really a dandy helmet because the optics are fairly wide field of view, 65-degree field of view. They're very wide in terms of the diameter of the lenses. Maybe you can see these are 30mm diameter lenses, meaning they're very forgiving about where your eye is in front of them. These are nice glass lenses. It's a triplet. There's 3 glass elements in each eye. And these are coated aspherics, meaning that they have very low chromatic aberration, and for a wide field of view helmet, not much distortion either. These optics, the lenses here, are used in the VR-4, the newer V6, the even newer V8, and even the V1280, which is the current production model from Virtual Research. You've kind of seen the bits and pieces here. A wonderful helmet, and someday you ought to try one. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.